Here's a game. E4. So, how about an Alekhine's defense? Haven't had one of those lately. He plays the normal move there, kicks the knight around a couple times. The extreme chase variation. He just keeps chasing it and chasing it. So, that's interesting. He plays both knight moves out, both pawn moves, and then he brings the bishop out to attack the knight. Normally when the bishop comes out, the knight goes to to g6 or b6 there, kicking the bishop, but now I can't because of that pawn. So I will defend the knight there and play this. It did kind of force me to block in my my light squared bishop. Okay, let's exchange that since he's threatening to win a pawn. And now I want to break loose. I'm wondering whether to play d6 here or d5. If I play d5, he'll probably take en passant anyway, so it probably comes out the same. I push, he takes. Push, he takes, I take, he takes, I take. Yeah, that works. Or he could drop his bishop back, but as I expected, he took en passant. So this looks like it should be fine for me. I've freed up my position, so all those annoying pawns have disappeared, and haven't suffered any particular development disadvantage. Okay, so that's an interesting way to play. He develops a piece instead of taking. I can do that too. Let's develop a piece, block this diagonal, avoid any annoying checks there. So instead of taking, I could consider pushing on to D. Okay, he decided to take then finally. So we transposed into a position we would have gotten if he had taken right away. Could have considered pushing to d5 and gaining a tempo on the bishop, but I don't know if the bishop would have been any better somewhere else. So I could castle, I could develop my light squared bishop, attack this guy. Queen could come out to a5 here, hitting the pawn on c3 and see how he defends it. Probably bishop to d2. And then castle. I kind of like that. See how he wants to defend that pawn. And my queen can actually swing all the way over to the other side of the board, which might be an interesting way to play it. So he defends with the queen. Yeah, not a bad choice. He's looking at a good diagonal there. If this knight weren't here, I could actually take on d4 there, but the knight would take back because of the pin. Yeah, and I can't eliminate that knight easily, so let's just castle. He'll probably castle as well. And then I'm a little vulnerable here because I don't have a knight over on the king's side, so I'm going to play h6 and preempt any knight to g5 ideas. So now I got to figure out how to develop my light squared bishop. If I push on with e5, he'll probably play if I play e5, he'll probably play d5, which doesn't help a whole lot. Although it does allow me to get my other bishop out. But I'll have to move my knight first. Where'll the knight go? No good squares, so maybe this queen venture wasn't so great. Maybe it wasn't. Okay, let's go with b6 and bishop b7. This looks like a good diagonal. You can't immediately put pressure on these loose pieces here. At least I don't see it. He could try something like pawn to d. f5 here and make my pieces a little uncomfortable that way. So let's defend the knight now, develop the bishop, open up things for the rook. He may be thinking of a sacrifice over here on h6. It's always something to consider. Yeah, he was. How did I know that? He just seemed like that kind of player. So I'm going to go ahead and take it. And I can bring the knight over or the queen. He's going to play knight to... he's going to play knight to g5, I guess. Knight to g5. So I can cover that with the bishop. There's also queen to f5 maybe as an idea. It's to preempt, say if I play bishop to e7 first to cover knight g5, he might follow up with a bishop to e3. But if I play my queen over here first, then he can't play bishop e3, d3 rather. And if he plays knight g5, I can still play bishop e7. Also have the idea of knight to e7. So I just don't believe this sacrifice was working. And let's hope I can refute it all the way. Okay, now he's now white is taking time to think. You know, rook to d1 is a reasonable idea here to prepare bishop to d3. I would probably play queen to g6, and his queen would retreat. Then I would bring a knight or a bishop over. Maybe knight over. Knight e7 opens up this diagonal to his knight here, which would be a nice piece for me to get rid of. But let's think about this. So rook d1, queen g6, queen back to h3, and it's my move. Threat is the bishop coming there. So if I move the knight to e7, he plays, yeah, there he goes. So this is the line I'm thinking of. So queen here, queen g6, queen h3, knight e7, bishop to d6. Maybe yeah, it'd be nice if I could figure out how to get well, let's start with this move anyway. I don't want to waste too much more time. How can I get pressure on his queen on h3? I'm assuming that's where he goes. Oh, he goes back there. Well, then that's not as much of a problem. He's still going to play bishop here, but I can drop my queen back. Let's see. I maybe should go with should I go with the knight move first or the bishop move? Say knight here, bishop there, I drop back his turn. His knight might come into g4 or h3. Still, I need to get the knight over here. It's going to be useful. The queen is back and he plays knight to h4. Then I have knight to g6 to challenge it. If he plays knight to g5, then I'll have knight g6 followed by bishop e7. Then things should be okay for me. Also, if he moves the knight, I can checkmate him. I just spotted that idea. That's nice. Okay, so he decided to stop the checkmating idea. So let's eliminate the knight. I don't know, that's a good bishop. I kind of hate to give it up. Is there another move here? Could I go knight g6 first? Maybe bring my rook to the center and push the d pawn forward, something like that. The e pawn. So he did go there. So bishop here. Where is he going next? I'm just going to trade that knight off. I don't mind so much trading off my dark squared bishop because he created light squared weaknesses here for this bishop to exploit. I was just thinking if I gave up the light squared bishop for the knight, this dark squared bishop would be looking at that dark triangle of pawns and maybe not so useful. And where's that knight going from there? I don't see it has any great squares. This knight could now move with tempo because the rook will be attacked twice when the knight moves, but no great discoveries. Well, here or here. So he sacrifices more. Yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound, but this is of course not working. Where is it? He does get to take that knight, so he gets another pawn. It'll still be a piece up. But he won't have a queen anymore after this. So it'll be 2 rooks and 2 bishops against 2 rooks, 1 bishop, and a whole bunch of pawns. And so let's start by targeting those pawns. Okay, he hit my bishop. Let's attack the pawns from this direction too. Okay, that bishop could come back to this file. So as long as he's defending that pawn, let's pile up on it. Try and keep him busy. I guess he's got bishop to bishop to f5 if I play rook here, so I would just have to move the rook again. Well, rook here, bishop f5, I take. If he takes my rook, I take his rook. So maybe that's okay. Let's try it. takes my rook, I take his rook. If he takes my rook, I take his rook. And, yeah, either way. So, you know, they say that a piece is worth 3 pawns, but sometimes when you have an extra piece, you can just round up those pawns. We'll see if it works out okay for me here. You can check out in the postmortem if you had compensation for the attack, but I'm pretty sure the original attack was unsound. There was probably more accurate ways for me to play. So he did go there. Okay, so I was just thinking, take here. And I'm still a bishop up, and now he's got, and he was up to 4 pawns for the piece because he won 2 pawns in the initial sacrifice, another 2 pawns in that second tactic. So if I win a pawn over here, though, then I will be down to 2 pawns for the piece, and that should be in my favor. And I'm getting rid of the pawns on this side so I can push my pawns forward. If I can get a passed pawn, if I can mobilize these guys, then that will be the strongest, quickest finish to the game, strongest way to finish it. My king is over here in front of these extra pawns that he's got. My bishops can support these guys going forward, so I'm thinking taking with the rook and getting an exchange here and just going with 2 bishops versus 1 in the end game. Yep, let's do that now. And start those pawns a-rolling. Here, get this one with check, even. And here. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have moved that bishop just that quickly, but let's get this going here. So, what's the trick here? If I take here, let's push once more and then take on this, take the F pawn, because when he takes back, that I will push again. And he can't stop it. So I have to stay on a dark square here. There we go. And if he doesn't take, I'll take another pawn. So a nice little tactic for the endgame. Goes there. Okay, so we are going to take here, I guess. So maybe he gets, maybe he's able to stop this. Ah, he's going to fight on. He should have just taken my bishop. I think this is a win now. All right, so I did successfully refute that. Yeah, he resigned. Always good to refute an unsound attack. So I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.